All right, welcome to Tea Kada Bench live episode number 27. This episode, we have a very nice journalist with us to share her insights. As usual, Adi is here. Adi, say hello.
Hi guys. So this time our guest before we came on the live, we thought it's a filmmaker. வந்து பார்த்தா journalist மாறிட்டாங்க. So happy to welcome our journalistic guest. So how do you introduce yourself?
So, I am a 24-year-old journalist, or at least trying to be in the current political environment. And my name is Aparna Ganesan, and I'm from Chennai. That's my introduction.
Nice. Okay.
Trying to be a
Yeah.
journalist. நல்லா இருக்கு. செம்ம.
Wish you all the best.
I need it. Thank you. Yeah. So, for now, I work at a media startup called Asiaville. It's based in Chennai. So it's called Asiaville, not AsiaNet, not Asiavilli, or people will be like Asia what? அப்படின்னுவாங்க. Half the time it's really ridiculous by the time I get to tell them where I work. But needless to say, you go to my profile itself, there'll be a whole playlist. And yeah, that's where you can find majority of my work. I wish I had time to do stuff personally, தனியா போயிட்டு ஷூட் பண்றதுக்கு, to tell stories that matter. Right now, it's very tight. So அந்த ஒரு freelancer or creator இருக்கிற freedom இல்ல. But the advantage on the other hand is that there's a lot of scope for stories that எப்படி சொல்றது, that require intervention, that require a lot of intervention at a policy level. So that is
Hmm.
my ultimate um, form of video storytelling, I would say. So for example, if you were to take these long essayed articles where you have facts and you have people's emotion, you have facts and people's emotion, the underlying issue underneath. So to collect all the data for that, even for an article, would be really really difficult. And video on the other hand is three times more difficult, because I can get an official to say whatever, information that he needs to say, and an official who did not wish to be quoted, I can write that down, but I can't do that
Hmm.
for video.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Hmm.
proof and data and collection and facts and emotion and music and all of it have to come together. So my forte, or what I want to be working on in the future, is to tell stories through videos on marginalized communities that require policy level interventions. So I think that is my main interest. But yes, of course, I do fun stuff like dogs, cats, whatever. That is part of everybody's video storytelling narrative, I believe. So yeah.
Uh-huh. So basically one question I have was, so what is some story that you actually want to do but haven't or can't?
So so many are there, but off the top of my head,
Hmm.
so I was thinking about this story today. In 2019, I happened to go to Rameshwaram to document the fishermen's lives there. I happened to do a three-part series, one on Dhanushkodi and two on Rameshwaram. And the Rameshwaram, or the second part, was one of my most favorites because it looked into the problems between fishermen themselves. அங்க அந்த கம்யூனிட்டி உள்ளேயே, between fishermen who have bigger boats versus smaller boats, who is the traditional fisherman, who is, the untraditional one, and the மாதிரி they have their own narratives and angles to that story. So they would tell me something that around March, yeah, particularly March or early April, they have this function which happens wherein இவங்க வந்து they travel from Rameshwaram to Kachativu. Kachativu is this
Hmm.
island between Sri Lanka and India, which has been in conflict for many many years.
Hmm.
Currently it's under the Sri Lankan control, I believe, if I'm not too sure. Yeah, that's correct. And Rameshwaram fishermen or Indian fishermen have been like, it used to be for both of us, why can't the countries come to terms? And it's a whole political thing. But every year during that annual function, Kachativuku, both parties will come together. They'll celebrate for one day and they'll all go back. And so, for me to do the story from the perspective of, say, these fishermen who have only been in problems with another country's fishermen, but for them to come together for a common cause, despite their differences. I've been wanting to visit them for, it's been what, 2 years now. Pona March also COVID, in the March also COVID. So that is one story that I wish I can do sometime in the next couple of years. So yeah, that's one thing that I really really wish I could see, to see people come together despite their differences. No, because it's not just differences of you took my pen, you took this, but it's about livelihood differences. It's about a lot of things. It's about political differences as well. So I wish that story was something that I had the opportunity to do. Yeah.
Awesome. It sounds very interesting. Kandipa, கேட்கணும். But one thing I want to ask, I saw your documentary, a couple of documentaries from Asia. One of the things I really found nice was the production value. It was well produced. It had good visuals, good audio. It was very engaging. It wasn't like, not to say the other, like, our production value is a Zoom call. So I'm not like saying low production value means like bad content, but uh, I'm saying, is that a very deliberate choice in how you tell your stories, and do you think that adds a particular flavor, uh, or something like that?
So that's a nice question, which I wish many people ask, but they normally don't. And see, so the part where I have a lot to learn is from filmmaking. I have a lot to learn from that, and I believe there is scope to implement a lot of those values into daily news packages. So the way our industry, in the media industry or news journalism space, has worked so far is, where have you seen visual content? Mostly on TV. Okay. Ippo digital you of course have, but what's happening is TV la irkarada cut pante, you upload it on YouTube and it doesn't become a news. It becomes a news package. It doesn't become a separate video entity madri. So we sort of had to think about, okay, we were to tell a story independently, not keeping in mind the fact that it's streamed. It's not streamed, or it's not, sorry, it's not broadcasted, it's streamed. So how do people consume content nowadays? So what is the one thing that they lack? So is there scope to bring the two together? And it's a very deliberate choice. It's incredibly hard to do. um, it, it has gone to points where I've had to ask experts to put their phone on airplane mode, have a backup recording audio while I'm doing a Zoom call, because I know Zoom is going to fuck me up. And I'm so sorry if I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but
No, censor
yeah.
free,
So
no worries.
it goes to that lens where you have to, yeah, you have to be pretty stubborn about it, but also know when to let go. So we
Hmm.
felt like there was scope where people could appreciate it, and if the story deserved it, definitely strive for it.
Yeah, so there's this YouTube channel called Vox. They're also a media house, but so they're primarily like a YouTube channel and digital content madri. But I think one of the biggest they recently did, not recently, I think like maybe one year ago, where they did a small thing about the Sri Lankan fishing issue, and they also did one on the farmers' protests, right? And I was following these issues as they were happening, and I think one of the nicest things, Adila, what I saw was, I think because of the production value, right? I think my ability to engage was a lot more, and I think, like, we keep speaking about attention span, right? When production values and visual engagement increases, I think there's a level of excitement to learn, and I think that is something uh, you learn. But I also notice that sometimes I'm just engrossed in the visuals, I don't sort of process the information. So how do you sort of keep that balance, uh, if you sort of understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, I do understand, because I've come across people who've been on two extreme ends. One would say I was able to understand the story because it was very visually engaging. The other has said it was so visually engaging that I didn't follow up on the story. So they had to go back and watch it. But
Hmm.
the main goal that I have to keep in mind is, are neither of them should exit the player. I know that's like a very low standard, but if he's able to go back and watch it again, do you
Hmm. Hmm.
understand that he still wants to know more? He's still interested over there.
Okay,
So I
okay, okay.
think for both the extremes, that is the ultimate goal that you have to keep in mind. That what did they say? I didn't hear it properly, and you go back. Or wait, wow, that was so cool, and then you go back and you watch it.
Hmm.
So for
Hmm.
both
Hmm.
of them, that's the common factor that I keep in mind. The how you strike a balance between the two would be, um, what was that movie? What was that movie? Malcolm and Mary. Yeah, I think it came out on
Ah,
Netflix
yeah,
recently.
Ah,
the COVID
Yeah,
one.
Zendaya and
yeah,
yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That film. So he'll have this. He's having moments all throughout the film, but then he'll tell our கால மேல வச்சுக்கிட்டு அவர் வந்து too short, wide shot, this shot, none of it matters. It's about what you want. It's about what the director wants. So keep that in mind to any storyteller. How do you want to tell the story? That also varies. If you're a creator, your angle would be different. You're a comedian, your angle would be different. You're a journalist, your angle is going to be different. But how do you want to tell it? Keep that in mind and stick to that. So as long as you're keeping those things in mind, a comedian will know how to keep his content engaged, and he could be talking about the same thing that I am. The same goes for me. So how I want to tell the story, if it is being delivered, if it is too fast for me, then I know it's going to be fast for someone else. So you replay, and you keep polishing that vessel till it shines. And there's no end to it, so that's why there are deadlines. Thank God for that.
Yeah. Like I think when you're shooting, no, one good rule to follow is I think it's Tarkovsky or someone who will say, good cinematography is what's rarely noticed. So படம் பார்க்கும்போது நீ வந்து விஷுவல்ஸ்லயே நீ கம்ப்ளீட்டா இறங்கிட்டீங்கன்னா that is still terrible cinematography where they're not conveying enough of what you're supposed to be seeing. That is still shit cinematography. Mafia படம் பார்த்துருக்கீங்கன்னா that is the other end where the cinematography is so bad you can't follow what is happening on screen. Yeah, KGF is like the cinematography is so good எனக்கு கதையே புரியல. KGF வந்து is that
For KGF, cinematography wasn't the only problem, but okay.
ஆமா cinematography not the only problem, but actually story நல்லா இருக்கும். But cinematography was such a big problem. யாருக்குமே ஸ்டோரியே தெரியல.
Correct. So
Yeah.
other than, and also the stories that I do are non-fiction, are community based. Like, why are three privileged people sitting in Chennai in AC, air conditioning Wi-Fi going to remotely be worried about or even want to listen to somebody's story in the other corner of Tamil Nadu? It makes no sense for you to want to watch it. So the first thing is to mm, get your attention, and that getting your attention under these circumstances is hard enough, and that too in a world where only if you're posting reels or quickly consumable content, people are coming to watch your content as well, more and more. So on the mother space, you have so many challenges that sometimes you have to keep all that aside and just focus on the story, believe in it, but also keep in mind how these factors can also influence your audience's behavior. So that was one thing. And so why that is relevant here is because we're trying to do short documentaries or short videos and tell bigger, more impactful stories. So the way you keep them visually or sound effects or etc, no, it's quite hard to strike, and each person has their own finesse as well. So that's also pretty interesting.
One thing I would ask, so you said, right, why would someone want to listen to, like, generally, you're from a privileged background, you're comfy. Why would you want to go listen to the struggles of someone in some corner? And but yeah, now, and this is on YouTube, this is on the internet, it's free, and producing video has never been easier. You know, it's not film, it's just digital. You can use your phone and edit it over there itself if you really need to. What are some of the challenges in not only telling these stories but reaching these people, making them even communicate their problems, right? Sometimes people have a tough, like, you put a camera in front of them, they'll freeze. Like, that's a very simple issue, or it could be far more nuanced as well. So what are some of those regular and face பண்ற issues when, like, undertaking these projects?
The first thing would be dealing with hostility, which is not something that uh, I don't know, creators, I don't know if they face, but journalists definitely face. It's when subjects get really hostile, when they get really closed off, they don't just tend to, shut their feelings away or shut their words away. They also tend to, unknowingly, but sort of what is the word, they sort of tend to be very spiteful. Yeah, but they don't do it on purpose. It's because they're just so nervous or they don't want to get involved. So it takes a lot of time to start, get them knees, do a warm up just like you guys have done. Tell them that, you know what, your words matter, your voice matters, and why you want to document them. And after doing all of this, there's still a good chance that you're going to fail, but you still have to try for all of these things. So the first thing would be to deal with hostile subjects. Second would be somebody would be really talkative, really fun. Yes, they'll talk. You put a camera and they're gone, and they're like, no, I don't know what happened. So you wait a while, you shoot them for a couple of days or a couple of hours until they don't realize. It's like a reality TV format, no, where they forget that the
Big
camera is there.
Boss.
Correct. So I don't
Uh-huh.
watch it, but yeah. So
Tubuchku, tubuchku. Come on.
don't know the references. So
Yeah. No,
that
neither
is
do I.
one thing.
நான் references வச்சு தான் references பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். So yeah.
So other is one thing where you get them comfortable in their own surroundings or so. Third would be collating data. That is, you have claims like Purvesh claimed this happened, but did it really happen? Collecting the data and these people's emotions and the getting the government side or the authority side or a company side, putting it all together and giving out a balance, no, is really really hard. And although sometimes you explicitly know that the fault lies on one party, you still have to give them a shot. You should have at least given them a chance to speak. Whether they accept or refuse is secondary. Even if you know they're going to refuse, you have to give them a shot,
Hmm.
because you have to do your job over there. To find that balance as a journalist um, is a key factor that you have to keep in mind. Fourth would be dealing with challenges like இப்போ வந்து if you're going to shoot a film, I'm assuming I've heard people go on recce's, you go see the location, etc etc. இங்க அது ஒண்ணுமே பண்ண முடியாது. போனியா அந்த தாத்தாவை பாத்தியா, தாத்தா தாத்தா அப்படின்ட்டு பிடிச்சிட்டு தாத்தா உட்கார வச்சு, தாத்தா இங்க உட்காருங்க அங்க உட்காருங்க. அந்த தாத்தாவும் பாவம் வருவாரு உட்காருவாரு, இங்க ஓகேவாம்மா, இங்க ஓகேவா, இல்ல தாத்தா சூப்பரா இருக்கீங்க அங்கேயே உட்காருங்க. இல்ல நான் இப்ப சூப்பரா இல்ல, நான் டிரைவர்ஸ் லைசென்ஸ்ல சூப்பரா இருக்கேன், அவர் பாட்டுக்கு அவர் கதை. இப்ப so you wait and okay, you sorry, they're also opening up to you let them, and then because to get something you have to give to, so you let them speak,
Hmm.
you get them comfortable, and then adu okkarano. So time management is really really hard on field, particularly when
Hmm.
you're doing long format documentaries where you're visiting a community for the first time. You have to be very judicious of how you use the time. So yeah, these are four things off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Hmm.
One thing you said like giving other people, giving the other party a shot and sort of being neutral. Uh, Now, the country's state of journalism is quite pitiful, right? So,
No
and it's
denial
very,
there.
yeah, it's very easy to sort of take that route, right? Like if you look at even like I'm not only saying, right? It's not only not only one person. Like the opposite end also. It's not only the majoritarian place. The opposite end, like it's just very polarized. It's just if anything goes wrong, you point fingers at one person. It's just that, right? You don't take a time to critically think before you judge. And so, how do you sort of like make that call to make non-sensationalized and
Actually, wait, I have an add-on to this question.
hmm.
So when you say neutrality in journalism, when does neutrality cross over to become siding with the oppressor? When does it when do you not see that difference? Or is there a difference? நான் நியூட்ரலா இருக்கிறதுக்கும் நான் oppressor side எடுக்கிறதுக்கும் என்ன வித்தியாசம்?
இப்போ எப்படி சொல்றது, there's always see, okay, so there are evident cases where one right and wrong ன்னு ஒன்று இருக்கு, opinions ன்னு ஒன்று இருக்கு. So opinions or actionsங்கிற கேசஸ்ல of course you tell that this happened, this happened because this happened, a consequence of this, etc etc happened. But I in nowhere in my script or line should say that what they did was wrong, or புரியுதா உங்களுக்கு, what they did was illegal
Hmm.
நான் சொல்லலாம், what they did was wrong ன்னு சொன்னேன்னா அது என் opinion. But it is wrong. You have to understand that the way you communicate in that particular line is very very important on how you set the tone, not only for the story but also how you've treated everybody, all parties over there. So if the story really does deserve it, there are times of course you can choose the oppressor, because in child any sexual harassment cases, child abuse cases, you take, you know that that's wrong. There's no point in saying this man had happened to do this to this girl as a consequence of this. No, what he did was wrong over there. So எதுக்கு எப்போ எப்படி சொல்றோங்கிறது வந்துட்டு is very very important. And journalism, they'll always say you should never take sides, you should never take sides, and the reason they say that is because You have to give opportunity to everybody to tell their side, because without a proper 360 collection of all facts or data, உனக்கே வந்துட்டு மொத்தமா புரியாது for you to tell that
Hmm.
story properly. That is the reason why. So அது ஒன்று இருக்கும். And the second thing is your political inclination, whether you're left, right, center, or left, center, right, center, whatever it is. Don't let that influence what the story actually is about. புரியுதா உங்களுக்கு?
Yeah, following.
Yeah, so when there are cases of course, say issues like inequality or education level, when you have caste issues coming along, you explicitly have to say that this is happening. புரியுதா உங்களுக்கு? அந்த இடத்துல வந்து if you're going to add more emotions to it, you have to think about whether it's sensitizing the story, sensationalizing the story. Is it going to help people come out of a certain situation? Because ultimately, for me or for any journalist, it's not really, we are not activists, we are not there to make a change, to hold placards or so, but it is a form of documentation of history or whatever's happened, and it is really important. So be very very careful of how you tell it is what matters. So when you ask a question of when do you side with it, it purely depends on what the story requires and what the story needs. Sensitization is very underrated. It's severely underrated, that I can't tell you that it breaks my heart, it's that underrated. Sensationalization on the other hand is this easy, gets all the views. You throw in one sort of sound and a black and white charge in and it's done. So you're manipulating your audience also at times, even when it's not required. So to choose the sensitization side is pretty difficult. It varies with story, and based on that, your script writing, everything will sort of fall into place. I don't know if that answered your question.
Oh, yeah, I understand. And it also is very important. Like you said, it's a form of documentation. And I think documentation should stand the test of time because forget the next 100 years. Or low context, you'll remember what's happening. 1,000 years, 10,000 years, Kalichu, when people look back at this time, they should not think Satguru is some god or something like that. And they shouldn't be misled. Uh,
But no, நீ சொல்றது, the scary thing is that if people are writing history, நம்மளுக்கு இப்ப இருக்கிற knowledge information we actually wouldn't have at that point. For example, history எழுதும்போது Sadhguru will be written as a god.
So yeah, those are things to definitely. So yeah, and I think that's why the sensitization is very important. Making sure you elaborately explain the context. But yeah, but one more thing I wanted to ask, like as a digital house, right? Views are important, and it's for you it's like a cycle. You need to do good work, but in order for you to sustainably do said good work, you need to get the views, you need to get the clicks, or whatever is sustaining that view. You need. So so then,
Yeah.
how do you find your audience? Is what I'm asking you. Is to do what you do.
uh, how do I say you are singing opera, Adi is juggling, and I have a dog show. Okay, not dog show as in I'm not going to make dogs do things, but just like dog cafe madrin vechikalam. Okay, well.
Hmm.
So each one of us are doing our own thing. Okay, so let's say that people on that particular month or so, the nation has been like very stressed out or so, I may have a lot of people walking into my cafe because
Hmm.
they want to be with animals that welcome them, that sort of give them positivity or etc. Say they are pretty bored of going to the same place over and over, they'll come to you, or they'll want to watch something adventurous, exciting, they'll go to Adi. So you never go looking for your audience, you have to keep doing what you're doing. That's one thing I would tell everybody. But how well you do it, given the space where every creator right now is competing with algorithms which prefers advertisers. So
Hmm.
that's just a drawback for all of us. So on the point la, how well you do what you're good at or what you want to be good at matters a lot. So you keep in mind things like which is common to everybody. Say your first 3 to 5 seconds in solvanga adu, what music you choose, how engaging you've kept the first couple of seconds, what stories you're choosing to tell. எதுக்கு நீ வந்து 15 minute பண்ண போறேன்னா அதுக்கு worth இருக்கா, நீ 3 to 5 minute பண்ண போறேன்னா அதுக்கு worth இருக்கா. So all the factors uh, that are common for advertisers, creators, journalists, video storytellers, etc. Keep those things in mind, but never go running after the audience. Do what you're good at doing. Your audience will eventually come to you. I've seen that for many people around me, which is something that I had to learn for myself.
Yeah, I completely 100% agree.
Yeah.
Like there was a colleague in my office who is an excellent speaker, such a good speaker, such a good script writer. I could never remotely do what he does. All right, you understand? So I can't, it's working for him, it's working for him. If I remotely try to be that, I'm going to be the biggest failure in the world. So you just, if I'm very, எனக்கு எது வரும்னா அங்க இவரை வம்பிழுக்கிறது if I like it as a part of my video, I keep it, because that's how I feel like I want my audience to travel with me, and people happen to like it. So his style work for him, my style will work for me. So you have to keep doing what you do. Yeah, that's about it.
Fair enough. 10 வருஷம் கழிச்சு 10 வருஷம் ஆனாலும் 1001 ரீ-ரிலீஸ் பண்ணும்போது ஹிட் ஆச்சு.
Yeah.
Yuven,
So, yeah.
it's because of the ஒரே ஒரு Yuven பாட்டு.
Oh, but yeah. Okay, but I think we've hit time, Aparna. Is there any closing thoughts? Final, one thing listeners should take away from the episode. Solunga, please.
ஐயோ, நானே லைஃப்ல எல்லார்கிட்டயும் அட்வைஸ் கேட்குற ஸ்டேஜ்ல என்ன எல்லாருக்கும் ஏதாவது சொன்னா ஐ ஹேவ் அப்சல்யூட்லி நத்திங். I think for now I'll tell you something that's been going on in my head. It's about learning when to let go and learning when to hold on. Be it a story, be it a video, be it ஐயோ எனக்கு அந்த ஃப்ரேம் வரவே மாட்டேங்குது மச்சான். Whatever it is, um, don't beat yourself up over the decision that you have taken. Own up to it. Also make that decision pretty wisely. Whether you're a spontaneous person or somebody who's very cautious, it doesn't matter. Own up to things that you do. Own up to your mistakes. Own up to your achievements. And yeah, that's about it. அதுக்கு மேல எல்லாம் வேற எதுவுமே இல்ல. ஏன்னா அதுதான் ஏன் ஸ்டேட் லைஃப்ல.
Okay. All right. I think that's the episode. Thank you so much, Aparna, vandadukku. It was a joy talking to you. Makkale, thank you so much for listening. As usual, nandri.
வணக்கம்.